Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another awesome episode of SOFREP Radio. I am your host, Rad, and I have the pleasure to introduce you to a wonderful person. But first, before I introduce you to him, I want to talk to you about the merch store, and that's sofrep.com/merch store. Go check out our branded goods of items. We really appreciate you guys tagging us and sharing it all over the world. Thank you so much to all of our listeners out there for picking up the merch. And we also have a book club, and that is sofrep.com/book-club. Go read a book. You know, books are good for you. You can get a book, read it, put it in your brain, use it for later. You'd be like, why do I think I know that? Well, maybe you read a book and remembered it, okay? That's why. Read a book. Now, with that said, today we're going to talk to a veteran who has gone from joining the military, out of the military, working for his own company, Primary Arms, right? Am I saying that right, Steve Morgan with Primary Arms?
Yep, yeah, we're the optics division over here. So Primary Arms Optics, yep.
That's right, and Primary Optics. Now, let me go ahead and read a little bit about that. Thanks for being on the show, first of all. Now,
Thank you, appreciate it.
about Primary Optics, right? Let's just jump into what you transitioned to after you were in the Army. So, founded in 2008, Primary Arms Optics is a leading innovator in tactical optics, offering a comprehensive selection of rifle scopes, prism scopes, red dot sights, binoculars, optic mounts, and accessories. Every Primary Arms Optics product is hand inspected at their Houston base headquarters, and all of their products come with a Primary Arms lifetime warranty. Let me just put that out there at the very beginning of this show. Did I hit that right?
Yeah, 100%, exactly right, yep.
Right? And so before you got into Primary Arms, you decided to leave high school and join the military. How old were you when you joined the military?
I was 17, so I was a
17.
waiver join, yep. I actually didn't tell my mom that I was joining the Army, and I needed her to sign my waiver, so I told her that the government was going to give me a physical so I could go play hockey. And she's like, "Oh, that's great. Then we don't have to pay for a physical. Awesome deal." So I slid her the paperwork. She signed off on it, and I went down to MEPS and joined up. So,
Oh, wow, you really pulled one over on mom, right? They say that you
yep,
can be an actor if you can lie to your mom. If you can get away with a lie to your mom, you can win an Oscar. Okay? That's pretty good. You're like, yo, mom, just sign this off. I need to get a physical, right? And she's
yeah,
like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
no
go play
problem,
hockey. It'll be great.
bro. So 17, and then all of a sudden the Army comes knocking, and mom's like, where's the hockey league, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I called her. So it was after I was done with MEPS with all the contract signing and everything. So I called her up
Dude.
because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to hide this anymore. And like, hey, mom. So by the way, they had a really good offer down here, and they offered me a job. She's like, oh, that's really cool. It's like, yeah, it's as an infantryman in the Army. So I took it, and great. But they're going to buy me dinner on the way home, so I might be a little late. And she absolutely went ballistic. She's like, well, at least where are they going to take you to dinner? I was like, well, we're going to drive through McDonald's on the way home. So
Oh
it's
my
I'm
gosh.
coming out on top on this one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're like, I got some food. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get fed. Don't worry, mom. I got this. So off you go to infantry. Did you go to like Fort Benning, Georgia? Is that still the name? Or where'd you
Yep,
go?
yeah, it's or whatever it's called now. I think it's
Yeah.
back to Benning, maybe. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's went to Benning for
Hmm.
OSIT, one station unit training. So did all what is it, 16 weeks there. Had a couple of add-on schools, and then my entire platoon actually got assigned to Korea except for me. They sent me over to Washington with 1st of the 5th Infantry and 25th ID. So I got excited because I saw the 25th ID, like, Hawaii, this is sick. I'm going to love this. No, Washington State, slightly different, a little more rain,
Oh
but it
yeah.
was
So
still good. It was a good unit.
so Pacific Northwest. You went up to the Northwest, Washington, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, it was, I think the longest stretch of rain we had there was like 42 straight days, just
Jeez.
nothing but rain. And thankfully we were in the field that whole time, so it made it extra,
Yeah,
like,
because
extra
you
nice.
ain't training if it ain't raining, right?
Yep, exactly, exactly.
So, were you mechanized infantry? Were you working with the strikers, or what was your
Yeah, so
MO?
we started off. I got there right as they were getting ready to transition over to Stryker. So we started as light infantry, and then even after the Stryker transition, because it was a wheeled vehicle and not a track, they were still considered a light infantry, just Stryker support light infantry.
Yeah.
We started training off on the lavs, which, if anybody's ever been in a lav, it's got the 25 millimeter Bushmaster turret. So the troop compartment is a box about the size of my desk chair, and there was a entire squad of us crammed into that box. And I mean, we couldn't run the Bushmasters anyway because we didn't have ammo for them. They were just training vehicles. But yeah, that was kind of what we started with. And after I was there for a couple of months, we got our shipment of brand new strikers in, and we did our train up on that. They're like, "Cool, all right, deploy." So we're like, "All right, well, we got cool new vehicles." Like, no, 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 you're leaving those here. There's strikers in country for you. You'll be taking those over. So the ones we got in country were um, they were well used, let's say, well used.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet you. In and out, in
little,
and out, in and out, in and out. Where's
yep,
my coffee mug? In and out. Spilt my
yeah, it
coffee. In and
was
out, in and out.
it was an experience that first one. That was like the golden days of the GWAT too. That was early, what was 2004 ish. So like right before Fallujah was the big fight while we were there on that first deployment. So we were the unit that went into Fallujah with First Mardiv, and yeah, it was that was
Wow.
those were the GWAT days. Those
Did
were
you
GWAT.
have did you guys get into like, conflict and enemy fire on the strikers while you're in them? It's like ting 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 ting. Did you
Oh, all
have
the
that
time. Yeah,
all the
it
time?
was actually the so our first tick, our supply NCO was actually running air guard in the trail vehicle, and he was the first person to engage anybody for our unit when we deployed. And we were rolling from we were going to this little like combat outpost in the middle of nowhere and rolled out of biop. And as we were going down the road, somebody pulled in behind us, and a dude shot through the windshield. Of course, it was a white and orange Opel, so just like every other car that's out there, taxi cab. Dude shot through the windshield of that. He engaged through the windshield, and that was our first official. None of us knew what was going on because we were all sitting in the vehicle. But he just comes out, like, "I got one," and then it goes back
Bro.
up. That was it.
Dude, so mechanized. So you go from 17-year-old getting Mickey D's with your recruiter, going to MEPS,
Yep.
showing a healthy brown round to the doctor. Okay,
Yep.
you're like, I'm good to go, and they're like, okay, you're going to Washington. You all of a sudden are like, I'm infantry. Now they're like, hey, you're gonna get a ride though with this unit, this mechanized vehicle here, this striker. You're like, all right, and so you're really attached to that like a womb, right? Like that striker is where you guys live, get in, get out. You guys are constantly communicating with it at all times, right? Like they're talking to you while you get out, you go in a house or whatever you have to do on that mission, right? And they're
Yeah, it
constantly
was,
talking.
working out of the strikers was we didn't have to do any long walks,
Mm-hmm.
which was nice. We got rides most of the places we went. The funny thing, like because the striker was so new and it was expensive piece of equipment, the striker kind of sits in a weird place as far as a combat vehicle. So it's the detractors will say too light to fight and too heavy to run. The only weapon system that we had originally were the remote weapon systems with the M2s and the Mark 19s. Later on, they came out with like the Unicorn, which is the 105, basically like tank main gun on it.
Like on a Bradley, right? A Bradley has like a 105 or something like
But
that.
the Brads have that 25 millimeter Bushmaster, the chain gun,
25. Oh, the
and then they've
25
got the
millimeter.
tow missile pod on the side. And yeah, we had a 50 or a Mark 19 sitting on a remote weapon system, and then four dudes standing out of the top.
Huh.
So it was good against small arms, EFPs. Like that's what ended up kind of
What's
finishing
an
me up in
EFP?
my
Tell me what
career.
an EFP is. Tell me what an EFP is for those.
It's explosively form penetrator. So it's basically like a copper bowl with a charge behind it. And when the charge goes off, it inverts that copper into a basically a liquid dart or a semi-solid dart. And those things punch through anything. It doesn't matter. They'll cut through ABOMs like butter. It went through strikers like it wasn't even there. And
Like
those were
thermite or something, huh? Like a thermite charge or something that just will eat through
yeah,
whatever's
it's
hitting.
it's so hot and so fast. It burns through everything. It's
Ah,
those things are nasty. EFPs were definitely one of the biggest threats that we had. Like, I mean, I rode a gelled rocket fuel platter charge. Actually drove over the top of it. They estimated it was about 450 pounds. That detonated under my vehicle. We got a slight breach in the hull, um, but for the most part, we were kind of jacked up a little bit, a few broken bones and some cuts
bro.
and scrapes and stuff. But everybody survived that. But yeah, EFPs, once that one of those things cut through, I mean, it would create a vacuum inside of the vehicle when it hit, and it would destroy everything. It was
Whoa.
those things are nasty.
And that's on the other guy. The other guys have that, or we have that.
No, the other guys had that. So
Yeah,
we
right.
had all these like crazy countermeasures that we tried to do. There was one thing called the tomahawk because they were using a basically like a passive IR sensor. So like think of a motion sensor on a floodlight outside of your
Yeah,
garage.
yeah.
Um, and once a vehicle would go in front of that, that would detonate and it would go. So we came out with these tomahawks, was like a heating element inside of some two by fours that we hung off the front of the vehicle, and
So it would
then
trigger.
yeah, it would trigger and hopefully trigger in front of the vehicle. So they kind of wised up to that. And they're like, okay, well, we'll just take our EFPs here and we'll point them that way. So they were still pointed at the vehicles. Then we had other things that we did. We had electronic countermeasures, like the ingenuity of the enemy when we
Right.
were over there in the GWAT was just, it was incredible. It was impressive because we'd throw millions and millions and millions of dollars at defeating what they had, at electronic countermeasures, at physical countermeasures, all this extra armor, all this stuff. And they would be like, okay, so I've got a hose pipe and a roll of telephone wire. And they would defeat everything we had. It's
Right.
just incredible.
Right.
Incredible.
Because if there's a will, there's a way, right? That's their motto, right? And someone
Yeah.
over there is, and I can imagine if something happened over here in the U.S., what would we be doing, living in our homes and like,
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to each other? Yeah,
Yeah, if we had an
communicating. Like,
invading force coming
yeah,
over here,
bro.
there'd be, especially like the GWAT boys, man. We
Yeah.
everybody's here like, well, that wouldn't be that bad.
Here, I'll just walk with it, like Red Dawn with the bike across the street, park it in front.
Yep.
Hello, girl. Hello, girl. And she's just walking away. Boom. Right. Holy cow. Bread basket, right? And they have all these
Yeah.
countermeasures. That's amazing. Well, first of all, to you and all your Joes, thank you for raising your hand and swearing an oath and defending our flag and our nation and our Constitution and helping those who you were told you were helping over there, right? You're like, we're going over, we're going to free these people, we're going to liberate Iraq, we're going to be their friends and and go that way. So good job on just putting your brain in the right place. Okay, I just
Oh
want
man,
to
I
say that.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
bro.
very
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So and welcome home. And
Yeah,
then
appreciate it.
also, did you carry a pistol?
Later on in my career, I did. Yeah,
And did that pistol have an RMR on it at all, like a rear-mounted red dot or any type
I
of
wish,
fancy sight?
dude. I wish. No, it was OG Beretta M9s,
Yep,
crack locking block, just like everybody else's, and yeah, I think it was black at one point, but by the time I got it, it looked
dude.
like a polished stainless. Like it
I
was.
love that.
Yeah, and
Just in and
the
out, in
old
and out.
USGI flap holsters and everything.
Of course, dude. Just pulling out that old Beretta, right?
Yep.
And I
But
talked
man,
to
I
a
didn't
great
have to carry a rifle when I went to the chow hall. I could just throw that on my leg and I was good.
100%, right? And so here you are going through all of this combat, and you've got just the static equipment they issue you. You're
Oh
making 2x4 heat sensors to try to trigger sensors, so that didn't come
yeah.
that didn't come with the ship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you got 100-mile-an-hour tape, you got paracord, you've got Ingenuity yourself. You're going up against Ingenuity, and you got somebody saying, "Hey, this is what the Joe needs. Here's a contract." And then
Yep.
the Joe gets the lowest dollar contractor. They're like, oh, we can make it for 50 cents. You're like, no, make it for 55 because
Yeah.
we want air conditioning. 55 cents,
Throw a
right?
nickel on it. We won't be
Bro,
hot. Just another
yes,
nickel,
just
dude.
another nickel. So you got the lowest bidder coming in, trying to outfit the best military in the world,
Hmm.
and going up against people who are have ingenuity and other means to come at us. So
Yeah.
now you transition from combat infantry guy to what? What happens after you get home? OEF's waves have happened. You've gone over how many times now, right? And now
Yeah,
you're home,
I had 5 deployments altogether. I
right?
mean, it's a wild time. When you transition out, it's the military's got programs for soldiers and Marines and airmen and stuff that are getting out, and it's like, okay, so what's your MOS? All right, these are the civilian jobs that we think you would do well in with that training. What's your education level? This is how you do an interview. This is how real people dress. Stop wearing your PT shoes with jeans and a t-shirt tucked in. Like, let your hair grow a little bit. Stop knife handing every time you talk to people. Like, yeah, there's like the whole thing that you go through, but they don't really like prepare you for
The out process.
it's the out process. You finish up, you get that last signature, clear post, and it's like, okay, now I paid the $80 to the library because I lost that book 6 years ago.
Right.
So now I'm done. I can clear base. You get off base, and then it's like, now what? and you get back to where you are. And my first thing was, dude, I'm retired now. I got medically retired out. I'm done. I'm gonna just go fishing and go hunting. And I had like 2 weeks that I got to spend with myself. Way too much
Sure.
time with myself. I don't know how. I've been married to my wife for we're at 21 years now, and I don't know how she put up with it. I couldn't do 2 weeks. So the yeah, the
She's like handled you for 21 years. You can't even handle yourself for 2 weeks. She's like,
yeah,
let me
I
tell
was
you.
like, I
Oh,
am miserable to hang around. I don't know why she is still here, but
you've
it
got to be
was
funny. You got to have some jokes. That
that's the
usually
thing. And
wins.
it's she gets the humor too. Like most veterans we know, like dark humor is real humor.
Yes.
And there's some stuff that I would say to her, and it's she gets it, and she laughs at it, and it's funny. And I've made similar jokes out in the world at like jobs in my office and stuff like that, and everybody looks at you like,
I
oh,
know.
oh
My
my.
wife and I are the same. We kind of like,
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to die first. And she's like, no, I'm dying first. And I'm like, I'm
We
not going
my
to
wife
deal
and I
with
have the
it.
same argument.
I'm like, I'm not dealing with the pain of you dying first. I'm going to die first. You can deal with my pain. And like, we just go, it's the darkest. But that's love. That's love, right?
Yep,
We'll
that's
just go,
exactly what it is.
that's
That's
it right there.
exactly
And
what it is.
so you have a supporting significant other at home, and she's there
Very
to
much,
help
yep.
you calm you down and make sure that you're, whoa, right?
Yeah, yep, she helps calm me down. If not calm me down, she at least um is a sounding board.
Right.
She'll be that champion that sits behind, like, yeah, yeah, you go kick his ass. That's right, 100%. So, I mean, she's down to roll all the time. She's amazing.
That's awesome. That's
Yep.
awesome. Now, how does she feel about you? Now, did you guys meet when you were in the military, real quick?
We did, yeah, yeah. So we met at my first duty station. She was actually the daughter of a medic who was in my unit, which I did not realize until well within our
Whoa.
dating path. So,
They always say never talk down to a medic because one day your ass will be looking up at one.
yep,
So,
exactly,
it's like,
exactly.
hey, whoa, always be nice to your medic.
The medics, the cooks, and supply. Those are the three dudes you want to be friends with.
Really? And the guy that does dorm guard for you having to wake up every 2 hours, that guy too.
Oh, yep, yeah. Dude puts the fire watch schedule
Yeah,
together.
yeah. Be friends with that guy, okay? Just be like, hey, what's up? I'll take whatever shift, but can I have the one that just goes to bed at 9 instead of 7? Let me have the
Yeah,
9.
yeah.
I'll
Let
just
me
stay
do
up
the
too
eight
much.
to nine or the
Yeah,
5 to 6.
exactly. Yeah, but not like the 11 to 12, the
Yeah,
1 to 3. No, no, be friends, be friends.
yep.
Kindness goes a long way. Now, we're joking about like some kindness, and you're an infantryman, and you're working for Primary Arms, and Primary Arms has a very specific thing, and that is making solid products, optics, and equipment for end users to use and
Yeah.
successfully, right? Now, tell me a little bit about the manufacturing of Primary Arms. Does that come from the USA, or is this optic that I'm about to talk about just the specific one, a USA made optic?
So right now we've got one US made, and
Mm-hmm.
we've made a really big deal about it. We released it at SHOT Show. We've been talking about it with a couple of agencies and organizations for about a year now, and kind of gauging interest on it on a federal side and things like that. But yeah, we've released it to the public, SHOT Show 25, and it is our first U.S. made. And when we say U.S. made, we mean U.S. made, U.S. materials, U.S. manufacturing, U.S. coatings. It is U.S. made. It's not parts that we're getting
Designed here.
overseas,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's none of that. It's not assembled, it's made here.
Right. Is it made in Texas?
Yes, we put it all together and build it here in Texas, and then we've got some manufacturing partners, so some like machine shops, a couple of them here in Texas. We've got some electronic shops here in Texas, but some of them very, very specialized things like the lenses. That was probably one of the biggest struggles that we had, but they're from outside, so we've got people from all over the United States, kind of with specialized components that we did all the design stuff on and all the prototyping, bring them in here, and we build them all here in Houston.
It's called the HTX-1 is the US made optic, and that fits a multitude of pistols that have a rear mounting sight capability, right? For like an RMR or like a rear red dot. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the coolest features about it. So like I've got one here. You can see just the raw body. There
Yep.
isn't a footprint, not a specific footprint for anything anyway. So when we initially set out with the design of this, instead of using like some type of play system to adapt your gun to the dot that you're mounting it to, we want to adapt our dot to whatever platform you're putting it on. By doing that, we can keep it as low as possible because anytime you use a plate, you're going to lift that thing up off the slide a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, depending on the plate system. And you're going to lose your co-witness. You're going to change the way you shoot that gun. So a good example is somebody who's really used to shooting like iron sights on a Glock. Now they're going to throw a dot on there, and now they've got to switch over to suppressor height sights. They actually watch these dudes pick this gun up, but they've been shooting for 10, 15, 20
Right.
years, and they pick the gun up, and then their chin goes boop because they've got to come up another half inch. So now they're
Right above the
losing.
muzzle.
Yeah, because they're used to presenting flat and then boop, come up, and they're losing that time. So if we can make something low enough where we don't have that issue, then they don't have to use suppressor height sights. They don't have to change the way they shoot. All they're doing is they're basically inserting a red dot into the platform that they know and love. So they're gaining that additional functionality without losing anything, without changing anything, without having to retrain. Because retraining's hard. I mean, all of us that have been doing something one way forever, like just a slight variance in that, and it's like, no, I don't like this anymore. This isn't my thing.
Right. You change, and we resist change.
Yeah, yeah.
We're like, whoa, whoa, because I wrap my hands for boxing a certain way, and I have for a while. And my coach is like, no, you should do it this way, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still doing it the other way.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like,
You
no,
try it the one time, you like do horrible in the fight. Everything hurts. Like you get KO'd
right.
3 seconds in a round one. It's like because these stupid raps, I told you I need to do it the other.
Yeah, right, right, exactly, exactly. It's just like the simplest thing. It's like, you sit here and you put the ball in the basket. You put the ball in the basket. You put the ball in the basket, and now you got to put the red dot in the basket. And so you have to just acquire that. But what I like about a red dot for what we use is you just open sight picture. You just find that red dot. You just know that it's zeroed into your co-witness of
Yep.
your platform, and pop, 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 pop. Just wherever my eyes see the red dot is where I should be placing it.
Yeah, it's target focused shooting, so you don't
Yeah.
have to. You're not looking at that front side anymore. You're not
Yeah, you're
shifting
not
focus from front side to
squinting.
target.
You
Yeah,
shouldn't have to squint. It should be just both eyes open, scanning. Peripheral vision going on. So we do a lot of war games here in Utah, right? So one of my main things is getting like 100, 200 guys together, like us, guys who could never serve, guys with asthma, things like guys, gals, and they go after replica pistols like the M17. We have an airsoft version of it. We have the Glocks. We have
yep.
18 chart. All of the
Anything you
different
could ever
pistols.
want is those
Everything.
replica guns are amazing.
Right? And so something like this, if it comes at a price point that's like maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing like $300-$500, that's something that an end user like my own crew would put on their guns. We got EOTechs, we've got all these different things, and so Trichicon's guys spend thermal. We have Holosun thermal optics on $600 guns.
Yeah, yeah.
So hunting each other at night with There's Your Soul, hunting through the fog at Camp Pendleton when Oceanside rolls in and the fog's all there. We're like, how come nobody can see nothing? And all you hear is hit, 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 hit. My guys are just looking through the fog with thermals, right?
Yep.
And
yep.
so to be able to have like a primary arms rear-mounted sight on a multitude of pistols, how much is this thing gonna go for? Can you give me kind of a price point?
Yeah, so the U.S. one, I mean, that's kind of the catch-22 to it. When you build stuff in the U.S., it's not cheap.
Yeah, U.S. prices.
Yeah, it's definitely a premium dot, and we're running MSRP on this thing with the Vulcan reticle, which I'll go over here in a second, is right around the 750. Street price is going to be less, of course, and then if you just do a dot and not the Vulcan, just standard 4 MOA dot, you're looking right around like the 700, 699 as an MSRP. So street's a little bit lower on it. But that's kind of the cool thing about primary arms optics is we do a multitude of optics. So like for the dudes that are looking for dots for training or for like throwing them on their high kappas or their TN blocks or whatever they're putting
you
them
already
on.
know. Yeah.
They're, we do in our CLX series or our classic series, we do a RMR footprint. And we also do an RMSC footprint red dot that retails at like $150 with a lifetime warranty. So you take a BB to that thing or take a header off of a set of stairs and you crush it, like I'll give you a new one.
Primary arms to be stocked at my store ASAP. I just want to put that out there,
100%.
okay?
Yeah, you let me know. We'll
ASAP,
make it
bro.
happen.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, we'll work that out, no problem. I'm actually expanding into a new kill house, and
Oh, sick. Nice.
yeah, I got about a 10,000 square foot kill house right now, and then
Nice.
you know that we do. That's kind of the side. This is. I love to do this interview right here. All right, I love to be on this podcast and talk to guys like yourself and gals and learn about you and the side gigs that I do. There's just so many other things like the war games and the indoor kill house and you know all these
Yep.
replica firearms that I deal with. The muscle memory is 1-1, and
Yeah,
so
it's the same. I got into it, like, I've been playing for, I don't know, 5, 6 years now, 7 years, longer than that, long time. And I got into it for the reps because I just wanted to, like, hey, I want to be able to shoot my pistol in my house. And at the time I was living in Wisconsin, and it's cold in the wintertime. It's just snows all the time. It's always cold or it's oppressively humid, one of the two. And being able to shoot inside and get those reps in, sight picture, sight alignment, trigger press, it's transition
exactly.
from target to target. It's huge. And then I've like, oh, other people like this too. And then, oh, I can shoot at other people this and I won't go to,
Yes.
and
No.
it's just like this big thing that comes out. And then you go and you have access to facilities all over the country. You can go out to GTI, you can go
GTI. Yeah,
party,
dude.
and if you and I wanted to go out there, we got to pay 30K to get in there for a Saturday and Sunday if there aren't any other trainings going on.
Correct.
But you go do a big like Milsim event or something in these places, it's pay 150, 200, $250 a
And you're
ticket,
in.
and you can go train at these multi-million-dollar facilities. It's the training value of it's huge. Now, there is the airsoft aspect of it, and sometimes airsofters are going to airsoft. Anybody who plays knows exactly what that means.
100%. Nothing
But
gets
it's
away
still,
from
you still
the
get
real
that training.
smell. Nothing can get away from the smell and the fear of a real platform of a firearm. There's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
that's ever gonna like take away the bang, the is this loaded? It's completely disassembled on my desk. Is it loaded? You know, you're like it's
hmm
completely disassembled, but you might be loaded, right? Like if I, you know, I don't want to pull your
yeah.
trigger
You,
because you
you
might.
can still bite. It's like a headless snake.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
still
yeah.
sharp
There's
things in
something
there.
about you, you know. And so, you know, a lot of people say airsoft teaches bad habits, and I'm like, tell me the bad habit, and I'll tell you the bad habit. And so the bad habit
Mhm.
is we hunt other people, like consistently. Like my bad habit is I point my gun at somebody. Don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. No, I meant to do that. It's
Mhm.
intending, right? So to intend to shoot at what you aim at, that's the
Yeah.
whole point of using your gun. And so it's
Yep.
like my dad always taught me, hey, don't point it unless you intend. And I'm like, well, there's 3 guys over in a bunker. I totally intend. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It's like,
Yep. Exactly.
so other than that, it's like there's a lot of same disciplines, a lot of same, you know, safety guardrails are in place. Like, don't sweep me, don't muzzle flash me, you know, etc. And it's a great learning ground, okay, to
Yeah.
teach as
Yep.
well. And again, some people who have asthma or like a premature eye from birth, nothing they can do about it. They just can't enlist. They can't go.
Yeah.
It's like, what do they get to do? Well, they get to throw on some gear, run outside, and go fight for 5 or 10 hours in the day in the desert with us. And they get to, like, you know, maybe shoulder to shoulder with a guy like yourself who's been playing for 6 years now and like, hey, what's up, bro? It's like, what is that on your gun? Oh, you mean the primary arms optic that I have on my airsoft pistol that I got from Rad's store? What?
Yep.
Or wherever you get it? I'm just saying, right? Because that's just one avenue for you guys to always think about, right? Which you obviously do. The other is obviously the agencies and the folks that are like, you know, always wanting to have it there for that exact reason. I
Yeah.
just don't see any difference between having an M17 or a P320 and an M17 P320 with the dot. You can take the dot off or put it on yours, or take the dot off and put it on the airsoft one, so that you can always train with it in your house and have that same clarity, the same, you know, crispness that you want to see from that reticle. You know, there's reticles on the market. I've seen them. I've seen a ton of them. A ton of them. I've been to like 17 SHOT Shows. You know, and like
Oh
how
yeah.
many times, how many optics can you see? You know, these are made in China. These are made overseas. These are made here. Multiple reticles inside. It's like, yeah, but there's a little blur in it, or it doesn't. It's just not quite crisp. And then you get somebody who puts love, energy, passion into a device. They say, hey, you know, if we had this type of fiber in it, it would be brighter and crisper. Those types of things are priceless because it matters when you're getting into a firefight.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about, speed to first round on target. And there's certain things you can do. Nothing can ever replace training. I mean, if you got to choose between buying a $4,000 gun or spending $1,000 on a gun, $3,000 on ammo, and going to shoot, buy the $1,000 gun, spend the rest of it on ammo, go shoot. Training, training, training. That being said, I mean, there are technology or technologies out there. There are equipment suggestions and equipment choices out there that can help to bridge that training gap. I've mentioned briefly the Vulcan reticle
Hmm.
when I was talking about the HTX here, and that's one of those pieces of technology that can help bridge the gap. So, people that are transitioning over to a pistol optic for the first time, the hardest thing they kind of struggle with is finding the dot in that window. So with iron sights, it's easy. I can see where my front sight is, so I can drop that ball in the basket every single time. I can see where it is. I can drive the gun to get my front sight post into my rear notch. With a red dot, if that dot's not in the window, I have no idea where it is. That's when you see a lot of guys when we call it fishing for the dot. So they'll get their gun and they'll sit there and you can see them kind of doing this because they're looking for that dot.
Yeah.
With the Vulcan, our Vulcan has a in the HTX is a 240 MOA outer circle, and some of our other optics we've got a 250 MOA outer circle. But when you present it correctly, you can't see it. You can't see that circle. All you see is the dot, which is the sight picture that you want. If you come up with a bad grip out of the holster, you're shooting around the barricade, you're somebody's shooting at you, and it's a very reaction. Oh shit, I got to shoot back, and you don't have that perfect sight alignment sight picture, you lose the dot in the window. Because that circle's so big, you can still see the circle. So you know which way to drive that gun to get it back to
Yep.
center. Everybody knows how to find the center of a circle, unless you're in the Marine Corps, in which case you need to ask your Army buddy and he'll help you. But you can drive that right back to center and pick up that good sight picture. So we're increasing that first round on target speed. And like the dude who sits right behind me is actually my boss. He's Marine Corps. We got a bunch of Marine Corps dudes.
Oh,
But
I believe it.
anybody who's in it's we can all make fun of each other. If somebody from the outside makes fun of us, then we all gang up on that one person on the outside. So
Oh, I'll tell you,
um,
dude. I'll tell you, my buddy that works up at my Leighton shop, Mitch. I'll give him a shout out. He's 11 Bravo, my ops manager up there. Packs, has that circle with the chevron on his red dot, ready to go. He is that guy. He also loves primary arms, and so when I was telling him I was going to have you guys on the show, he's just like,
go
rad.
sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he's the guy that should be really like, I should have said, write me everything you wanted to know about primary arms, and he would tell you about your company. He can't help it. He can't help it. He's that guy.
I'm the same way. It's my wife tells me like every time I'm like, I was thinking about getting into, and she says, no, because there's no like little bit. I'm not gonna like, well,
Yeah.
I'll dabble in this a little bit. I go whole hog. And it doesn't matter what it is. I'm a big radio nerd, so I do like ham radio stuff. I scuba dive. I do motorcycles, guns. Guns has been the biggest consistent I've had in my life, but
Sure.
it is full send on everything. And unfortunately, everything I like to do, like I don't have cheap hobbies. It's
No. It's full
airsoft.
send,
I mean,
dude.
I got a room full of airsoft guns at home.
I got a whole shop and a kill house for airsoft. I'm telling you, I've dedicated
And it
my.
started off as one weekend. You're like, oh, dude, this seems kind
Yeah,
of fun.
exactly. No, now it's like a lifestyle. I've invested everything. I put my neck on the line for it. The podcast, I go full speed on the podcast. I love that, dude. I love that you're full speed all the time. And what you love to do is you're passionate about those things and get out of
Oh,
your way.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, just get out of your
Absolutely.
way. And so you probably really enjoy working at Primary Arms. And so as someone who transitioned out of the military at Primary, now tell me something. Are you the founder? How did the Primary Arms come about in 2008?
No, yeah. So I work for him. The owner of the
Yeah.
company, his name's Marshall Lerner. Awesome dude. Really, really cool guy. One of the nicest, kind of most caring dudes I think I've ever had the opportunity to work for. He really is great. He's also big into cars, which is cool because I like him too, and he's got a lot cooler cars than I do, so I get
Sure,
to do this.
sure.
But he actually started off um, selling optics on AR15.com on ARFCOM, um, kind of through the back of his barbershop. He owned a couple of barbershops at the time, and that's how it started. He was basically on the forums, and people on forums, they haven't changed over the years. So somebody
No.
was basically like, you can't get any good optics. There's no such thing as good stuff from overseas, from China, from Japan, from wherever. And Marshall's like, well, if you design it right and you have a good manufacturing partner and you hold them up to their quality, you can get good stuff. So a dude on the forum is keyboard warrior. He's like, prove it, do it then. So Marshall's like, okay.
All right.
And
Yeah.
he flew overseas. He went and visited a bunch of factories and got established a really good relationship with the one that he liked. And he brought in the first thing, it was a red dot, a little just standard red dot.
Yep.
Brought that in and offered it up on Arcom, and boom, sold out immediately. So he got some more, and then, oh, that's cool too. Let's do something with this other optic. And he brought that in, and it just kind of grew and grew from there. And he started selling out of there's a strip mall here in Houston that he moved the first primary arms into. And that's when he kind of picked up other stuff as well. So if anybody knows primaryarms.com, sell everything. You can buy guns, ammo, you can buy optics, you can buy other people's optics. They sell, all the big brands, Vortex and Trijicon, and everybody's in there. Um, and he did that at that strip mall, and it grew and grew and grew, and he'd buy more spaces and more spaces until basically owned the whole thing and just ran out of space.
Right.
And that's when he made the transition and moved to the location there now, which is actually across the street from here. It's on the south side on Beltway and 288 on the south side of Houston. Gorgeous building. It is absolutely jammed to capacity right now, and because the growth just never stops.
Right. It
Um,
doesn't.
then we bought and started to build out over here about 3 years ago because originally Optics was operating kind of out of the back corner of that. And we kept growing and kept growing. And then we started this Main USA project. And we knew that that wasn't going to happen in the building over there. So we got this facility where a little over 50,000 square feet here. And
Wow.
this is where we do everything. So, I'm over here on the marketing and product development side. We've got our engineering team over here, our sales teams over here, our supply chains over here. Our inspections are actually done right outside of my door. We've got our inspections area, which 100% of primary arms optics that go out to the world are
Get
inspected here
checked.
at the
Yep.
facility. Yeah, it's every single one of them gets hands on them. Anybody who has a primary arms optic, open the box up, look in the lid, you'll see a stamp with a number on it. That's the inspection stamp. Um, every single one, which is pretty impressive. A lot of companies do, and this isn't the first optics company that I work for. And I can tell you a lot of the other optics companies out there, they'll do just a 10%. So they get 100 cases in, they'll inspect one case, good to go. Okay, yep, we'll go and we'll ship it out. And usually it's pretty good. Return rates aren't too bad, but every now and again you get a lemon. With ours, our return rate's under 1%
Oh yeah.
because every single one is inspected. And we have a threshold of acceptable fallout. There's, we'll catch them, pull them out of the line, and sometimes they're just blems, like it's just a small cosmetic thing. And we actually got kind of a joke outside that they'll bring stuff into us, and we'll take a look at it and like, so what's wrong with this? Like, no, look, if you see here, there's like a little abnormality in the thing, and you're looking like, dude, I don't see it. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, it's there, and it's, well, I mean, okay, if you say it's there, and then it
Yeah.
gets blended out or whatever it is, but
Destroying
they're,
the field, bro. Just destroying the field.
yeah, it's insane. Like they can actually look through scopes. Like if they could take, this is one of our new big boys, so they can look
Oh
through this,
yeah.
and they can focus on separate elements of glass inside of it to make sure that everything is right. If there's dust on like the second set of doublets that's sitting in here, there's dust in there, and then they'll blem it out, and like it's incredible the very unique skill that comes with that job. They've absolutely mastered out there, which is pretty
Oh
neat.
yeah.
Um,
Tease them more. They're
yeah,
gonna ask
we
for a
moved over here.
raise,
We've been
dude.
here for 3 years. Built out the clean room here, and started producing and doing prototyping of the HTX, and started building out and stuff like that. Now we've announced we're in production. We're starting to make them, and it's exciting. It's exciting. A lot of growth in a very very short time.
Well, a lot of shout out to Marshall for just persevering and just saying, prove me wrong kind of thing. It's like, okay, forums. He's sitting here going, snip, 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 looking at his forums, cutting hair. He's like, optics out the back door, and now he's got 50,000 square foot facility. I'm literally looking at a 33,000 square foot facility here in Salt Lake City, and
Yeah.
my prices per square footage is it's not cheap, right? These things are
Yeah,
not
I mean,
cheap.
we're Houston. We're downtown Houston. Like, we're this. It's not cheap
Jeez,
being out here either.
no, no. And so
And the
what I'm saying
facility
is
across
that,
the street, the main facility, is twice as big as this one is. Massive,
damn,
massive footprint.
damn, yeah, you guys need to make a little indoor CQB shoot house in a corner of it and have them come in and play a little bit there and maybe check out what you have for them to see. I don't know. I'm just thinking already.
So I actually put together. It's called Tactics and Tacos, and it's
Yes, yes, I do
a
Taco Tuesday.
do you? Yeah, it's
Yes,
so sick because
yes.
there's this little Mexican food spot next to the indoor place we go. We get together once a month, and it's a bunch of people from the office here, and it's open to everybody. And whoever wants to come up, I've got a bunch of guns that I get ready. I charge the batteries. I got ammo, magazines. So like, you come, pay your field entry fee. I will give you everything else. Play, see what you
Right.
think. If you like it, go by gear and you'll be and everybody likes it. Like, they go in and play
Yeah.
once, and then as soon as they're done with that, they're going over to the store with a card in their hand and they're ready to
Yeah,
buy.
they're like, what can I? And the more real it is from a real manufacturer, the better we like it as consumers in war games and airsoft because we want the real thing. You
Yeah,
know, a lot of the gear that guys at our level are wearing is deployed gear that's been purchased, or it's like, oh, they could never get in and get this JPC plate carrier, but yet here's one for a certain amount and they can afford it. They buy
yeah,
it.
yeah.
These dudes are kitted out to the nines. I got
It's,
guys in
it's
the guard,
incredible. It's
in the
incredible.
National Guard. He has a high cut on his helmet, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Who are you, high speed?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm private first class, so and so." And they're like, "And why do you got a high cut and a Cobra buckle belt?" And he's like, "Well, I know Rad." And they're like, "Can you get us 5 more?" I love the guard. I love the guard, man, because those guys wait all month long to go blow stuff up on the weekend, and they want to look good doing it. It's not like
Yep.
they have to do it every day. So
Yep.
I love the guard, bro. I love the guard. All guards are great. Even you, Air Guard, Marine
Yeah,
Corps
even
Guard.
you, Air Guard.
There is no Marine Corps Guard. That's a joke to the Marines. No Marine Corps Guard except color
If
guard.
Marine Corps had a guard, they'd be the best looking guard unit out there. Army
Bro,
can't let that happen. So
no, 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 no. It is no. So primary arms. Are you guys looking for anybody to come on board with your 50,000 square foot warehouse and the double the size on the other across the street? If I'm a veteran or somebody's out there in the market and they're like, hey, how do I put my skill set to use? I've been a gunsmith in the Army, working in the armory for the last 15 years. I need to do something. Can they reach out to Primary Arms?
absolutely, yeah. So if you go to our website, right down on the bottom, there's a tab that says careers. Click into that. It's got all open job listings. When we open a job listing up, we don't just open it internally. We just don't just open it externally. When we open it, it's open to everybody because Marshall's got a saying. He's proud to be able to put the right people in the right seats on the bus. And that's what's built the success of Primary Arms and Primary Arms Optics is having those right people in place. And, you might be the right person, you might be in the wrong seat. So there's always opportunity to shift around and do the thing that both benefits you as well as benefits your organization. And for veterans, especially dudes that are getting out, um, veterans know what it is to be committed to the suck. So, like, even though it's miserable and you don't want to do it, you're gonna burn the 55-gallon drum of shit that came out of the
Yeah.
bottom of that porta john because
Yeah.
that's your job. And if you don't do it, somebody else has to.
And it has to
And
get done.
yeah, it's got to get done. And so a lot of vets have that mindset of like, I'm gonna buckle into this thing and I'm just gonna do it because I made a commitment and this is my job and I'm gonna keep doing it. That's not what we look for here. We want people that know what their strong suits are, that know how to value themselves, and then how they can benefit the organization. Like, there's dedication and there's esprit de corps. So like, I'm extremely proud to work for PAO, and there's that dedication to the brand where all I run is Primary Arms Optics. When I compete, I'm running Primary Arms
Right.
Optics. Everything I do is PAO. It's I live, breathe, eat, sleep PAO. I want the brand to grow and succeed regardless of my involvement in it. I want to make sure that everybody here is elevated to the maximum of their potential. And that's the mindset that we look for in those employees, which, veterans have that in them, but they do have that part where they hold on to that thing
Sure.
doing something that they hate, but that's their job and they're going to keep doing it. Like, it's okay to be like, this isn't for me.
Right.
This isn't. I'm more of a vanilla ice cream guy, and all you've got strawberry over here. I'm not into it, and it's okay to let go of that and then move over to something that you think is going to make you happier. And if it doesn't,
Try something else.
bygones be bygones. No hard feelings, and
Yeah.
find something that does. But yeah, we look for that. We look for the dedication. We look for pride in self as well as pride in unit, or in our case, pride in the brand that you work for, pride in the company, and the fight to move forward and grow into what we all know it can be. So
I love that. Now, are you guys going to have any type of SHOT Show 2026 party? We're talking next year.
but I don't know. We've been talking about that for the last couple of years. I really wanted to do an HTX party because, I
Yes.
mean, reshoring manufacturing, especially something like this. So I can tell you, HTX, developing that supply chain, it didn't exist. There's no, like, you can't call up 1-800 lenses and have them cut the lens that we needed for
Right.
this thing. Like, we had to first find a US lens manufacturer, which is not easy. There's a lot of people that cut lenses in the US with imported glass. That wasn't what we were looking for. So putting all that stuff together and building that supply chain out hasn't been done before. There's one of the glass manufacturers that we work with now. They're like, we can build this, but the machines don't exist here. So we have to figure out how to build this.
Mm.
And we worked with them and we worked together to develop that, which is really cool. A technology that didn't exist here in the States, we got to develop that to help them make it happen. But I mean, it's a big deal to be able to do something like that. And I really wanted to have a party at Vegas for it and, bring everybody in and like,
Yeah.
look, y'all wanted US made stuff. We did
Here
it.
it
It's
is.
all
Yeah.
US. But it didn't happen this year. So maybe, I mean, we're still talking about it maybe for next year. We'll see. There's a lot of cool big things coming. So, that's always a possibility.
Put it on your calendar now so you might look into it. You can save a little bit if you book sooner. That's all I'm saying. If you
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
get a building, it's like, we want this for next January. You're like, but it's just barely January. You're like, yeah, we know.
Like,
We're going to save
we're
10
all
bucks. No, I've been to some crazy SHOT Show parties, and I've seen like snowmobile championships from Cry to, all these different types of parties. So I could just see Primary pulling in that crowd. You know what I mean? What a booth that is, quote
Yeah,
unquote. 100%, dude. It's
yeah,
like,
that'd be sick. It'd be
a
fun.
bus picks you up at the Venetian, takes you to the Primary's space. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm just saying. So, and because I'll be there. So I'm just trying to get myself on the list right now. It's like, let's start the list. Rad. We
Yeah,
can make it
I'll
70s
make
themed.
sure that you got one of the VIP passes if we do it.
That's
I'll get it.
that's what's up, dude. I just want to see some of your more cost-effective optics. Probably, after we get done, I'll reach out to you and you can
Oh,
shoot me
100%,
over
dude.
some
Yeah.
info, and I can just have my business partner check it out. And if you're also a small business out there and you're looking to carry a product line that can be sustainable in your own small business, you got glass cases and you're locally supported, then I would also recommend checking out Primary Arms Optics and Primary Arms, honestly, and seeing if you guys do. I mean, you have the wholesale, you have that whole line for distributorship to retailers like ourselves, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of divisions of the company here. So like Primary Arms Wholesale is, again, it's a bunch of different brands. So if you're a dealer out there, if you have a small retail shop, like it's a true B2B wholesale. So you can go through and order whatever you're looking for on there and get it shipped to you, and you can ship it for resale. And then we do B2B, direct to retailers here with optics as well. So optics, we don't sell direct to consumers. We're a dealer based only. The
Yeah.
.com and the corporate side, which is basically another company. They're the ones who do all the consumer sales. But yeah, any of the shops that are out there, we love our dealer network. We've actually, I've been back in the States now for 3 days after a month-long trip overseas. We had EMO,
IWA.
which is the European Shot Show,
Yep.
M-Force Pack before that, which is like the same sort of thing, but it's more like military, police, law enforcement, that tactical stuff. G wagons with carbon fiber rocket
Yeah,
launchers,
seriously, bro.
all that stuff. Yeah, it's a wild show, dude. This
No,
stuff they
dude.
got is crazy.
The G wagons I see driving around Draper, Utah, Sandy, Utah, where I live, I'm like, you guys, those are military,
Yep.
vehicles, and they're all like $800,000, halogen headlights. I'm just like blacked out. I'm like,
Up armored. You can tell they're up armored just the way it sits on the
oh, dude.
suspension. Like, dude, that's not a 6,800 pound truck. That's a 10,000 pound truck.
Yes.
You got some
Right.
steel in
Tax
there.
write off, 7,000 or more, right?
Yep,
Like
exactly.
up
Heavy
up armor
commercial.
that. Holy cow, dude, you're so cool, bro. Thanks for coming on to our show, and thanks for talking about some of your conflicts and going over to Iraq and talking about your striker unit and being infantry and your mom and bringing her up and the love that you still have for her, whether she's here or not, I don't know, but
Oh yeah, she's still around.
then you should always just tell her I love you and thanks for letting me get that Big Mac, Mom. I appreciate it, right?
Yep. Every day.
Every day. And you have a supporting wife at home who's sitting there taking care of you and making sure that you can bounce off of her. Wait, in more ways than one, I suppose. But,
Yep, I do have 4 kids as well. So.
Okay, yeah, and I got 3 kids, so the dark humor still lives, okay? And, and primary arms, right? Doing good things for those of us in the shooting sports industry and, whether even if you're just like on a boat and you need some binoculars, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have got some legit binos too, right? I mean,
and like they're great. You can kind of see them on the shelf behind me there. We came out with those a couple of years ago, and we did a SLX and a GLX line in them in a 1042. They're fantastic binoculars, and they retail like the GLX are really, really good ones. Retail.
They got like a compass inside of it, so as you move around, you can see all of your different points of reference.
No, we don't have any like augmented feature sets in there.
Yeah.
Like we don't have image stabilization or compass or anything in there yet. We
Yeah,
might
right.
if there's enough
Right.
demand for it, for sure. But I mean, the retail on them, you're looking like $200, less than $200.
Solid.
The SLX is like 150, 125-ish. I mean, it's super approachable price points. And again, that lifetime warranty. So you got them on the boat. Unfortunately, you drop them off your boat and they're at the
That's
bottom
gone.
of the lake. Like, I need them to be able to replace them.
Return them.
Come back. Actually, call me up because I'm a diver. So tell me you dropped them. I'll come get them.
Yes.
There might be a slight finder's fee for it. Bring them up to the top and we'll replace them for you.
Did you dive Lake Michigan when you lived in Wisconsin? Is that where you dove? Did you dive?
No,
Lake
actually,
Michigan?
so my wife and I got certified down here, which I should have just done it up in Wisconsin because we got certified in January in Houston. The water temp when we did our final checkout dive was 51 degrees, freezing. It was miserable. But yeah, I mean, summertime you got bath water basically that you're diving in if you're doing green water, and then down in the Gulf, down in Cozumel, Mexico, I've dove all over the place.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. See, my dad grew up in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, which is on the border of the Lake Michigan right there. I used to leave my grandpa's house and go fish on the pier on Lake Michigan. But back in the day, my dad used to go scuba dive an old tugboat wreckage or something, and he had a tug. I don't know. That's why I was thinking. Did you scuba dive Lake Michigan? So.
Yeah, there's some really cool diving on Lake Michigan. Really cool diving. Haven't done it yet, but that's definitely one of the bucket list dives I want to do. There's a cool wood boat, like big wood sailing vessel wreck that's out there you can dive. I'd love to get down on that thing. That thing is such a cool boat to see.
Dude, you're awesome, bro. Okay, I can keep talking. I've had you for an hour. I know you're running a business. So thank you so much for being on SOFREP.com and SOFREP Radio. And dude, it's just been a really nice time to have you here, Steve. And I don't know what else to tell you, bro.
The pleasure's all mine, man. I appreciate you having me on. Whenever you guys want,
you're welcome back.
Yep, love to.
Yeah, if you have more products that you guys want to expose on our show and say, hey, check this out. We have a new thermal glasses. You just push the button. They look just like your Carreras, Rad. You wouldn't even know they're thermal. Overlays. Like some kind of fly lens, right?
Augmented reality.
Bro. So if you have anything you want to bring back or you want to let us know about some other ideas that you guys have going on at Primary Arms, you just let us know about it and we'll have you on. And again, thanks so much. You can check out Primary Arms on X, on Instagram, on Twitter is X. So you can do that. And YouTube, I think there's a YouTube account. And, they do really good footage and it's really cool looking. So Tell them Rad sent you. Tell them you came over from SOFREP. Go follow him. Give him a like. And I'm going to say thanks so much for being on the show, dude. Do you have anything
Yeah,
else to
thank
say?
you,
I'll let
man.
you close it. Yeah, go ahead.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we love all our customers out there. We love all the listeners out there. Thank you so much for having me on. We'll definitely be on again because we're always working on cool stuff. Yeah, hit us up. All the social medias, Primary Arms Optics. Type that in. You're going to find us. If you see my face on it, it's probably one of ours. It's that's where all the cool information comes out, and where a lot of people like, especially on IG and X or Twitter, Tweet Space, Face Made, whatever it is, all that
Yeah.
stuff. That's where a lot of the new stuff going to debut. Is where you hear about it first. So follow us, and we also love hearing from everybody out there. If you have like, it would be cool if. That's how all these projects start.
Sure.
Wouldn't it be cool if we had an enclosed pistol dot that you can mount in every footprint? Wouldn't it be cool if you had a first focal plane rifle scope that was as bright as my red dot? It all starts as that. So if you have ideas, hit us
Wouldn't
up.
it be cool if a 2032 never died and you didn't have to buy them and throw them away? Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could have rechargeable 2032s, CR123As? I'm just saying, like, some of these little things. Now, okay, again, I'm gonna have you back on the show. Okay, we're gonna get back on the show. We could talk all day, but I'm gonna get your info, and then I'll start getting some of your stuff in my shop too. And if you're a local shop out there and you're looking for a edge on the market with a cool ass product, check out Primary Arms Optics. And this is Rad on behalf of Steve Morgan over at Primary Arms, and Marshall, and my main man, Brandon Webb, who's also my boss, and all of the guys and gals behind the scenes here. Thanks so much. And Callum, my producer, I really appreciate you always putting this out there and typing all of the words out. He listens to the recording. He has no idea what's going to happen. And then when they put it up on SOFREP Radio, I read what he writes, and I'm like, is that what we talked about? That's great. That's great. Perfect.
So
Perfect. So sick. So shout out to my crew. And again, Primary Arms Optics. Check them out on all social medias. And this is Rad on behalf of Steve and Brandon Webb saying peace.
Later.